Today we're going to be showing you something on what it's like to drive. Something very awesome, fast, a lot of luxury, but for the most part definitely fits the word exotic and aftermarket. Take a look at it, guys. We got a Ferrari F430. Hey everybody, welcome back to What It's Like to Drive. I don't know, I feel like this is a special episode today. Originally we had thought about calling this maybe pre-owned exotics or aftermarket exotics because this rings every bell when it comes to it. But let's be honest, Ferrari F430. This is kind of Ferrari's epitome of driving cars. Back when the rally world started, when everybody saw the big driving events came on, this car led the charge. It had a lot of upgrades and different things that had been put in the car by Ferrari to make it even more driver friendly than any other vehicle they had made before. Now, the beauty of this car is it also has a lot of aftermarket work from Fabspeed done to it. You're going to see the exhaust, you're going to see some other crazy things to it, but most of all, the sound. If there's one thing that these cars have to have, it's sound. And this car rings all the bells. It's just performance ready. So the thing is I'm both a little worried and a little excited to get in the driver's seat, take it for a spin, and see what it's like to drive. So today, as always, we're going to show you what it's like to drive, what are the costs of ownership, as I giggle away there, and lastly, are there any pitfalls, any things like that that you would have to worry about if you wanted to own your own car. Now, things are going to be a little bit different today because a lot of this stuff is not made for normal people. I'm living a midlife crisis right here, right now. It is what it is, but it's something that if you are looking for a vehicle like this, I want to see if it's something that you should consider. I have a feeling what the answer is going to be. But otherwise, let's check it out right now. Hey everybody, we're in the driver's seat of a 2006 F430 Ferrari. Now the reason, normally I'd have these cars started up by now. One of the reasons I don't have it started up right now is because I think you should hear the majesty of this car starting. Even the moments like this make this car everything it is. Ha! I was like looking for the button too. I'm like, where is it? Over here? Is it over here? Okay. So I'm gonna baby it. Oh my God. Everything about this car, it just says power. Probably a smart idea to put this on. So this has a Fabspeed tune, Fabspeed exhaust, Fabspeed a lot of stuff here. So not only am I getting an F430 Spider, so we're going to drive with the top down, but I also am going to get it with performance stuff, and it's in race mode. So pray for me. No. That's the thing is this is my first time in an F430. I'm used to fast cars like this, so I've driven Lambos, I've driven Ferraris before, but each of these cars has their own little characteristics that make them kind of their own thing, which I really dig. But I just want to be everything about careful here. All right, so I'm going to start off that way, I guess. Man, this thing just wants to get up and go. That's incredible. So 600 horsepower we got here. And I'm still driving careful. See, as a driver goes, I love the smoothness to it. I love the kick that you have, but there's a real linear feel to these high revving engines. It's just an experience, and it's not an experience you're going to get on a lot of cars. We drove some of the other cars that had these rough suspensions with them, and these things, man, this just doesn't feel like rough or doesn't want to beat me up. So yeah, this road is pretty bad. Not the worst road I've ever driven on, but as a whole, it's not exactly the friendliest road. And you're going to see a couple of bumps. You're going to see a little bit of the walking with the camera and stuff. But when it comes to the seating position, not having any problems whatsoever. It's just a great little drive. Man, it's just amazing that this has 600 horsepower. That you can just kind of get in the pedal a little bit and know where you're at. That's the thing that I need to say is that you don't want to get into this and go take off the second you get in it and get crazy with it. It's something you want to just kind of get used to and, you know, just get in the drive and feel it and enjoy it. But this is one of those cars you get in it and just, man, I can just drive for hours. I love the radar. So if you get one of these, you got to have radar. You got to have something. I don't know, maybe it's just a rite of passage. Everybody I know has ever had one. But man, what a comfortable drive. Just amazing that you can just, you get in this, you want to drive forever. Like it just, it's an experience. Potentially religious too. I got the old 10 and 2. It's not my car, it is what it is. One of the great things I like about this car is you get in it, you press the gas, the second you hit that gas, it wakes you up. I don't care how much cups of coffee you've had, what you've done prior, the second you press that gas, you're in it and you're ready. And the funny thing is I always see people who have these, they drive like 100 yards away from the guy in front of them. A lot of that is because of rock chips and other things, but it's so funny when I got in it, it was like, well, it's not my car. I still feel like doing it. That downshift, man, is just incredible. So if you don't like attention, Ferrari's probably not your car. We've gotten honks, we've gotten looks, we've gotten everything, and it's not like we're the quietest thing on the road. So basically, if man, right up the RPM scale, just boop, 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 boop. Phew. I'm telling you, you don't pay attention to this, you're suddenly going 100 miles per hour. So man, I gotta say, I'm ready to review this. It's just so much different than any car that we've driven before. And that's just the way it's going to be. It's always going to be this way. These cars were designed to be powerhouses. They were designed to be fast and just crazy fun to drive. I just have to tell anybody, if you have a chance in your life to drive one of these cars, you got to take it. It's just to see the difference between everything. Or even if you're a designer and you're like tuning your car and you say, hey, you know what, I want to know how to do mine, like, hey, this is a great example. So all right, we're ready. Okay, so what is it like to drive? Magnifique. It is absolutely, it's a driving experience. Oh, I think even in one of the driving things I actually said it was religious. It is one of those cars that really takes everything you've heard about cars, throws everything performance-wise, and puts it in a perfect little box to be driven. Now, 600 horsepower is not something to be scoffed at. I've driven 600 horsepower plus race cars, and they didn't feel as linear power-wise as this. One thing that I used to say a long time ago as they upgraded exotic cars was that the problem was that it was too easy to go fast. And this is a perfect example of that. It took everything within my power not to put the gas down. With a red line of around 9,000 RPMs, with all the aftermarket work that's been done to it, and the linear curve that just made it so easy to drive, I literally could have fallen asleep doing it. It's a cruising 600 horsepower car, and I don't think there's a lot of cars that could say that. this was a driving experience. We took it on a really rough road that just was supposed to beat normal cars. I tested it with my Genesis, and although my Genesis was a little rough on it, it just was totally different. I have all this dialed in suspension, and this thing just beat the junk out of it. It just embarrassed all that aftermarket work that I did, and this is from the factory like that. So other than the Fabspeed stuff is done to make power. It's done to be performance oriented. So that was the crazy thing. We got in this car, we took it down the road, pressed the gas, go, press the brake, stop, the paddle shifting thing. Really easy to learn, literally. And I have done it in the past, but even when I've done it in the past, it's been 3 seconds of getting in the car, pressing the buttons, and you know what to do. It's actually scary easy. So like I said, if you're looking for a car, especially an exotic, F430 is the car to consider. Definitely on the list. It definitely got a 10. Now, the thing that I have to say is that as a daily driver, it may not be the car to fit that bill, but as the kind of car that you're going to take out and have fun with. And you know what? There's a lot of people out there that will take these cars and try to daily drive them. You know what? If that's your thing, I don't want to stop you, because it's, you know what? I drove it and I would like to daily drive it. Okay, so what is it going to cost to own your own Ferrari F430? Well, expect to pay about $120,000 for the car right now. Remember, again, right now we're in a buyer's market, so there's a good chance you probably will pay more. That's also based on this car. There's also $13,000 worth of Fabspeed stuff thrown into it for flavor. And I hate to say this, but you've heard how it sounded. You heard how it drove. I don't know. I think that's pretty much a no-brainer. And if you just spend $120,000 on the car, hey, what's another $13,000? I know I say that, but a lot of people that spend that kind of money go, hey, you know what? Maybe I don't want to spend the extra money. You may want to spend the extra money just for the experience and the idea that it really, there's a lot of things that are done to these cars restrictively that really take them way lower than what they should be. And some of this aftermarket stuff that they put in, it really springs them back to life and makes them alive and purposeful, what they were meant to do. So that, to me, I just think is a no-brainer. But hey, that's just me. It is what it is. So, but yeah, so if you're going to buy a car like this, expect to spend that much. And yeah, hopefully you're going to do some aftermarket work and make it sound perfect. Okay, so what are the pitfalls? What are the things that you're going to have to do with this? What's the service going to like? So the owner of this spends about $1,000 a year doing maintenance. He also knows how to do his own maintenance. Let's just do the reality that there are things on this car that can get very expensive if they break. But I'm hoping that you do the maintenance that you need to do to keep up with it. So if you're spending the money that you need every year, you should be getting ahead of everything that's a problem for it. But a lot of people will hear those numbers, and that's not the numbers that they like. Here's the thing. Do the research. So if you're looking to buy a car, there are places that you can call to say, hey, I'm looking to buy this car. I want to know what it's like to do the work on it. The other thing is when you're buying a car like this, you want to do what's called a PPI, so a pre-purchase inspection. So when you buy a car, you bring it in, the dealership looks at it, they get a good, it's usually about $250. They give you everything that the car is going to need before you purchase it. You can use that as part of your negotiation, however you want to do it. But that's the thing is you should know exactly where the car sits when you purchase the car. Obviously, there are times when things are not going to go perfect, but the idea of be ready for a purchase like this, and the idea that it's an investment of love. One thing that you're going to see here is this car is diamond perfect, from paint to correction and all that other stuff, and that's because when you buy a car like this, you're going to want to put the love in it. So now you don't just have the service, you want to do the detail to it, you want to keep up with it. Don't try to dodge stuff or try to take shortcuts. This is not the car for it. So that's just precision cars. Anything precision, you're going to want to keep it on the edge, and when it's on the edge, you want to make sure everything is dialed in perfect. So, but buy the right tires, buy the right stuff. A lot of the things that go on these cars are specific to this type of car. So it shouldn't be that hard, but that's the thing is you're always going to be tempted, and I would hate for you to be tempted. So here's the thing. Keep up with your maintenance. Make sure before you buy it that you have a pre-purchase inspection so you know what you're getting. And then make sure you either have a detailer on call or you know how to detail it yourself. And I think that's pretty much it. For the long run, I don't think they're really as problematic as most people say. And as for the other thing, I don't think the car's ever caught on fire. And to be honest, I don't think that's a thing anymore. So, in fact, I don't even know if it was a thing back in the day. There was a time when heat shields were against catalytic converters, and there was a time when certain cars caught on fire. You know what? Just do the research yourself on any car you're buying, and you should know what the pitfalls are before you get there. And you'll notice a lot of the stuff that they have are just myths and things that people put out there just for the fun of it. So, whatever it is, when you buy it, if you get the good car, you're not going to regret the purchase. So that's it for today for what it's like to drive. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this F430. I certainly did. So what's the scores for today? Obviously, based on price, they would push it down because it's not really an accessible car for everybody. But as a whole, A++ car. The only downfall it really has that keeps it from being the best in the world is because I'm not sure it's a daily driver. I would like to say it is, but not really sure. So, and the thing is I've never really owned one to test it out. There's places in here that water can get in. The daily abuses of the roads that we have, especially around here, just want to beat cars up. So I don't think I daily drive it all the time, but it definitely, when it came to weekends, I'd take every opportunity that I had to get in that driver's seat and drive. And really, driving less than an hour would be just disappointing because this car is made to drive. No matter what speed it was at, it was comfortable. No matter what it did, it was linear power. It was enjoyable. It never got scary. It was just all the things that people warned me about. It wasn't any of it. And it was perfect. So like I said, this is my first time driving an F430 and definitely made the grade. So, and I mean, look at it. Brakes, the look. I mean, like I said, if you want attention, this might just be the car for you. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We're going to continue our search for the next car, the next thing, the next whatever it is at this point. I don't know. This is going to be a real tough thing to beat. But you know what? We will find something. And when we do, we'll show you what it's like to drive.